Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we have had a major day in Hearthstone. A lot of news. We're not going to wait for this week in Hearthstone because, yeah, there's a lot to go over. So we had 2 mage cards announced to be nerfed. We had an announcement of an announcement coming next week. We had the Battlegrounds update go live, so all the nerfed elementals and heroes, all that stuff go live. And yeah, there's just a whole lot to go over. So let's start off straight off with the mage nerfs. So, if you recall, when I went over the last nerf, the last balance patch, which was like a week or so ago, which had Guardian Animals and Total and Pilgrim being nerfed, I specifically stated in that video that I thought they were making a mistake leaving Mage untouched, as I felt the deck was like already at the cusp of just being really degenerate, unfun, really powerful. And I mentioned that Sorcerer's Apprentice, Evocation, and the Solarion Prime should be candidates to get nerfed. They were just problematic. I mean, we've known with Apprentice being problematic in Wild with Quest Mage for almost the entirety of the year. And the way it is in Standard right now is just a little much. And, well, they finally addressed 2 of those cards. 2 of them I got right, as, you know, we typically tend to do on this channel. And we are seeing Evocation and the Prime being nerfed. So, what's happening? Well, Evocation will be going from 1 mana to 2 mana. That was the exact suggestion I made on my video. Basically, so that you can't discover it off of Wand Thief. You can't get it off of Cobalt Spellkin. And, you know, the only way you're going to get more copies is, like, through Cyclone or Magic Trick, stuff like that. So, it's a lot less frequent to get more. And it's also, you know, less flexible. You really need to play it with Apprentice for the most part. Like, 2 mana is a big step up. So, overall, I think the nerf is in a good spot. Your evocations won't be as plentiful. Honestly, I think the card is just kind of bad designed. I don't like the fact it even exists, but at least at 2 mana, it'll be a less offensive. What are the implications for this, or Standard and Wild? I think with the conjunction with the Prime nerf, we'll talk about in a sec, that deck might fall off a good amount, that it won't be able to keep up with the other degenerate RNG created by decks, like, not Mage, but Rogue and Priest. And, you know, the way you would scam, like, Demon Hunter or the aggro decks, it's going to be a lot less consistent based off, you know, Evocation costing more, being harder to come by, so it's a big hit. Yeah, I don't see it seeing, you know, it'll still see play in Standard, but I don't know how impactful it'll be, and I don't think, like, Reno Mage could run it anymore. I feel like it's way too, like, not flexible now at 2 mana. It's only the decks that run Apprentice that can still kind of abuse this. And in Wild, I think you're still running this in Quest Mage. It still completes your quest relatively easily. It's a little less flexible, but overall, you're definitely still running this in Quest Mage, and it'll dial back Quest Mage a little bit. Quest Mage should be a little bit more reasonable in Wild, so overall, I think it's a good change. I had suggested it in a prior video, and I'm glad that it happened. You know, better late than never. And the other change is to the Prime, so you still have the 2 mana 3/2 Astromancer, whatever, spell damage plus 1 minion, but the Prime minion itself is no longer a 7 mana 7/7. It is a 9 mana 7/7, spell damage plus 1, cast 5 spells, so this slows the Prime down a lot, and that is a huge deal. So you can't coin this out on 6. You can't slam it on 7. You have to wait until turn 9 to get that YOLO trying to bail yourself out. And, you know, that's kind of puzzle box territory. And is the Prime still good? Probably, but that slow in a deck that, again, can really struggle to stabilize without scamming, that is a huge deal. 2 mana, a 2 mana change to a card historically has basically always killed a card. Like, that is so much to make up for, and if it's bad now, if it's bad at 9, that makes Primordial Studies a lot worse, because, well, you're going to get primes a lot from that, and if it's too slow at 9, it's going to be a bad discover option. So, yeah, very interesting that they went really ham. I think they've seen how detrimental it is to the competitive scene to see these primes determine so many games that I think they didn't want to take a chance. They want to really just kind of kill the card. Because, I mean, it's kind of flawed in its design. I know I've listed it as one of my favorite cards in prior sets, but when you have Primordial Studies and you have so many high-impact spells, and make it so consistent to play the Prime on 7, it's just become a huge problem. And, yeah, I mean, this problem wasn't going to go anywhere. This card's not rotating next year. Neither is Primordial Study, so they just nipped it in the butt. It's going to 9. The card's pretty dead, honestly. In Wild, definitely. Like, you would play it in, like, Reno Mage and stuff like that, but at 9 mana in Wild, that is just way, way, way too slow in my opinion. This one's probably the safest to disenchant. I always recommend disenchanting any nerf card because you can always recraft it, but yeah, the Prime, I think, is kind of rough, and it's going to be more of a discover option, and I think that's healthy for the game. Long term, I don't think this card was healthy for it at all, and with it being that consistent, I'm glad it's getting nerfed, so yeah. Apprentice is not being nerfed, and there's no other nerfs announced. What do I think? You know, we just had that video, like, kind of going in on Blizzard for calling this a healthy meta. Funny they called it a healthy meta, but we get 2 more nerfs, but anyways, this has changed my opinion. Do I think the meta will now become healthy? This is what's going to get things on track, and my answer to that is no. I don't think there's any nerfs you could possibly do to make up for kind of shoddy design philosophy right now. With all the created by, the infinite possibilities in like Rogue and Priest as well. It's not just Mage that's the offender here. I mean, Rogue can discover, like, everything. They just can't mana cheat it. Priest can discover a lot of stuff. They just can't mana cheat it. You still have to play around literally everything against those classes. You can never control them. You can never try and win in a control strategy against them. For the most part, because they just have too much value. Like, it just never ends. And until, like, April rotation happens, when Lackeys go, and a lot of these, like, the Descent of Dragon stuff goes, I just don't see this changing. And no nerfs are going to change that unless you make every created by card from those expansions, you know, kind of bad. Like, you nerf every Lackey and you nerf all these, like, really, like, low-cost created by cards. And they're not going to do that. Nor do I think they should. I think we're just kind of stuck in this kind of garbage metagame that we're... garbage in terms of if you don't like the infinite random bullcrap every game. If you're into that, then this meta is for you. And that's awesome. I envy you. I wish it was for me. But it's not for me. And I don't see that changing at all until rotation. And if they can restrain themselves for the next few sets of printing these busted infinite value created by cards that chain into each other over and over and over again. If they can restrain themselves and start making cards more based, maybe a little bit more on value. Like, if it discovers, it's more of a one-time discover. It's not going to chain a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, it really depends on what we see next year. More so even next expansion, because again, these prior sets are gonna ruin any chance of that unless the power creep in the next set is so extreme that the non-created by cards in this next set like bump everything out, like we saw in Ashes with Demon Hunter. It's possible, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, would I suggest any more nerfs for this expansion? It's like, no. I think this should be it. The metagame's kind of stinks. People aren't really liking it. But that's not going to change with any more nerfs. I don't think these nerfs are going to change it a heck of a lot. People will be a lot less mad about facing Mage, because Mage has been really tilting to a lot of people. But yeah, they're still going to be upset about the other created by stuff, and still going to be upset about getting hit in the face by Demon Hunter, all that stuff. We're always going to be upset, right? But at this point, I wouldn't do anything more. I'd let the next expansion come out, see what happens, and we'll go from there. Speaking of that, we have an announcement of an announcement. Was a teaser on the YouTube channel, and they put this little post on their Play Hearthstone website, basically saying on the 22nd, so a week from today, basically, or tomorrow, or 6 days from now, they're going to have a stream on Twitch on their Play Hearthstone channel, so not on YouTube or whatever, and they'll have Kibler and some designers there, and they're going to be announcing stuff. They haven't said what or anything. It's pretty early for them to be hyping the next expansion, but I think we will see that. Because this balance patch is going live late next week, which will probably be when they push in the next pre-order. And that pre-order, I believe, will tie into the new mode that will be announced next week. If you don't remember that last year, when they announced the next expansion, one of the pre-order incentives was early access to Battlegrounds, the new mode. Well, whatever the new mode is, I think we're going to get pre-order access to that as a way to make you buy the next expansion. So I think we're going to get it hyped a little bit early, so that mode goes in, and then you can get that access to it. I may be totally wrong about that, but that's my thought. I think we're going to get the new expansion announcement We're going to get, the new mode, which could be whatever. Maybe we'll make a video about speculating what it could be. Maybe we'll do that. Let me know in the comments below. Should we do a speculation video? Guess. I don't know. And I think we'll also probably get the announcement of the Battle Pass system going live. The new reward system, it was at least hotly debated and contested, all that stuff, that it might be coming out. So I think that's what we can look forward to next week. So mark your calendar for that. Should be interesting to see. We really need a Kickstarter for this game to get a kick in the butt. BG's is doing all right. Ladder is dying a death. So let's see if this new mode can get things going, as well as this new expansion. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for the announcements? Are you guys okay with the nerfs? Should there be more? All of that? Do you disagree with my takes? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.